And I have a slight apology. Even though people's grades were put on D2L, I did not do my homework. And what do I mean by my homework? Those of you who took the quiz that got you ready for the exam should get extra credit. I did not go through and improve your grade on the exam, giving anyone extra credit. I'm sorry, I just didn't get around to it today. Again, I'm telling all of you, if your grade is not where it should be, reach out to me. I had a lot of appointments today with students in this class, other two, that were pretty much the same. They were not happy with how they were performing, and they wanted to find out what they can do in this class. So those appointments took up a good deal of today. And as a result, I wasn't able to sit down and really get into grading like I wanted to. So I apologize for that. I will put it up shortly. I will put it up shortly so that you'll be able to see your grade plus the extra credit from the quiz. All right. Now, this, we got people coming in. All right. It was still just 7 people. That's actually, ugh, that's real bad. I don't know. Maybe I'm making y'all run off, right? But this right here is the start of the course. Let's go and look at the article that we're going to be reading today. The article that we're going to read today is talking about love languages. Now, it's really funny. I got to credit a student who's still here, so I won't mention her name, who introduced me to love languages. This right here is something I think it escaped me when I was in graduate school. I'm probably not one to be interested in reading about other people's love. I always feel like people who tell you how to do something usually don't have their own stuff right in their lives. But that's my personal opinion. I'm not sure if I can make that statement about the real researchers who are doing it. But yeah, I just feel like people are very hypocritical, and I don't like to take people's advice when yeah, I'm not 100% sure that what you're going through is really enough to help me. All right. I see a hand raised. Kamal.
How you doing, Dr. Barnes?
I'm good. I'm good, man. Seems like it's been a long time.
Yeah, so I just had a brief question. So what about the students who participated in that meeting? I can't recall the particular day, but you stated that if you joined the meeting, you could receive extra credit on exam 3.
All right. Now let me talk about this meeting. This isn't the meeting that we did that resulted in those videos I created, or is this another meeting?
It was another meeting. I believe we were welcoming like another psychology person that was.
Oh, yes, absolutely right. Much apologies. I have that, and I'll tell you that is actually in D2L. You can't see it, but it's in D2L already. I put my extra credit in kind of like a column that's kind of silent. That's a great point. What you'll see is at the end of the semester when grades are all in, it will boost. But I'll tell you, if I said it should boost exam 3, then I'm not keeping true to my word. So what I'll do is I'll kind of shift that over and give you guys kind of an extra benefit to exam 3. I can definitely do that. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's keeping me on my toes. I like it. I like it. All right. Now, this is the article that we're going to get into today, talking about love languages. What I'm going to ask people to do is this. Please let me know. I've been having some internet connection issues all day long. In the event that you guys are unable to hear me, please let me know. Just raise your hand or type in the chat. I'm hoping it won't work. It won't have any issues. But if you guys are having issues hearing anything that I'm saying, please let me know. All right, now before we get into today's discussion of the article, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go do a couple of things, right? Now, we're going to talk about love languages. And I kind of talked about how I kind of missed this, right? But there's a YouTube video from an individual that I think really goes into what the love languages are. And we're going to sit back and watch this video. It's about 5 minutes. I'm not going to watch it at regular speed, so I apologize. I'm going to make sure this playback is at 1.25 speed, so it might be a little fast for some individuals. If it is fast for you, raise your hand. I'll see that, and I'll slow down. But I think 1.25 will save us a couple of seconds, but not make it so absolutely absurd. All right, let me make sure you guys can hear the sound. You should be able to. Let's go.
Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest says that the 5 love languages aren't just for romance. Here to explain, we're happy to welcome back the author of Human Lie Detection and Body Language 101, Vanessa Van Edwards. Nice to see you again.
Yeah, we're talking about love today.
Yeah,
I
got to ask you, what is love language? Because I mean, I could try to answer that, but I have a feeling I would be wrong.
No, I think you'd be right, actually. Dr. Gary Chapman is the one who coined this term. A love language is how we express our love and affection and how we feel most loved and respected.
So it's not verbal.
Not only verbal. So there are 5 different love languages. And what's interesting is Dr. Gary Chapman realized that so many couples and friends and colleagues, you feel like you're expressing love, but they don't hear it, or you feel underappreciated. So he realized that people speak in different love languages, and there are 5 of them.
All right, let's break them down.
Yes.
Quality time.
Yes, so people who have, usually you have a primary one, like as we go through these, you might be like, oh yeah, that's me. So people who have quality time as their love language, they just want to spend time together. They want to hang out all day, go on road trips, have date nights. So if you're a partner or your colleague, it doesn't have to necessarily be romance, it can also be in business and friends. For them, the way that they feel the most appreciated is to have special time just carved out for them. That's how they feel most heard and understood. For example, I used to make my dad these elaborate Christmas gifts, you know, hand-sewn ties and rosemary jam, and he'd be like, thanks for this thing. And I'd be like, I spent days slaving over that. But what I realized is he speaks quality time. What he would prefer as a gift is to spend the whole day hanging out, watching football, you know, walking around, going to the park. And so that made me realize that he wasn't feeling appreciated by my laboring. He just wanted to spend time with me.
And you say that there are people who need that quality time, and then there are also people that need to give that quality time.
Exactly. So for them, when they want to show that they respect and love you, they keep asking to hang out, right? Let's go on a date. Let's go hang out for the day. Let's go away for the weekend. And so that's what they're saying is that's how I feel loved and appreciated by you. So that's the first one.
And physical touch.
Physical touch is the second one. So this is not just intimate physical touch. It's also hugging, massaging, just like a touch on the forearm or a pat on the back. So I had a friend who used to walk shoulder to shoulder with me. And it would drive me crazy. I'd be like, why is she in my space?
I'm nervous just hearing the story.
I was like, why is she in my space? What I realized is once I discovered love languages is she is physical touch. She'd always want to give really big bear hugs when we first met. So I would start to link arms with her. When we walk, we link arms. She lights up. She feels so close to me because she wants that physical touch. So for physical touch, it's very important to make sure that you're hugging, putting a hand on the arm. In the workplace, you got to be careful.
Yeah, right, of course. Did I learn that the hard way? All right, but if you are with somebody, let's say in a relationship,
yes,
and they want any one of these things,
yes,
they're one who needs that to
yes,
feel the love, but you're not naturally one who gives that to feel the love. Can you force yourself, or do you need to force yourself to be one who gives that, even if it's not your natural physical language of love?
Great question. So my husband is physical touch, although that is not one of my primary love languages. So I know that to respect him, to make him feel like he is being cared for, I will purposely, when I see him, I always make sure that I give him a hug and a kiss. I make sure that when I'm sitting next to him, I always hold his hand. By the way, if you have a spouse, it's always like, hold my hand, hold my hand. They're probably physical touch. That's why they want that connection. So it's not necessarily forcing yourself. It's saying, you know, I care about this person. I want to make sure that they know I care about this person.
The other one is gifts.
Right. So third is gifts. And this doesn't have to be large gifts. It can be small trinkets. Every time you go on a trip, bringing them back a little something. Going to the grocery store, picking up their favorite candy. So one of my employees is gifts. And I didn't know this. So I would take her out to lunches. I would try to write nice notes for her. But what I realized is she actually just loved little trinkets. So for her birthdays, for Christmas, I always bring her something. 4th of July, I bring her a little cupcake. Easter, I make her a little basket. Because that's just the way that she feels loved. So giving those little things.
And kids are often gifts, right?
Always. Usually they like those gifts, and they can change.
All right, very quickly, because we have 2 more to get through.
Yes.
Acts of service.
Acts of service is mine. So this is doing for someone, helping them. If you have a spouse who has a long to-do list and loves to tell you about it, probably acts of service.
Okay.
So for me, I always like to feel like if you take out the trash, if you help me with a project, that's the best way someone feels cared about. And the last one is words of affirmation.
Which I think is mine.
Yes, and this is because you like to hear.
I like to hear. I don't necessarily compliment or say nice things, but I like to hear them.
So always telling the person that you care about them, that's the way they're going to feel loved.
And so how do you recognize that that's that person? How do you recognize that the person important to you wants affirmation?
Sure. So for you, it's the one that feels like, as I'm explaining it, that's me. For them, it's what they always ask for, what they complain about missing. So I wish you would help me more around the house. Probably acts of service.
Right.
I wish you would tell me more that you loved me. Probably words of affirmation. Would you hold my hand when we go out? I want to hold your hand while we're walking. Physical touch. So it's usually what they're asking for.
So in other words, if they're complaining about the same thing over and over again, that's your clue.
Right, and it's not bad, right? We don't need to judge someone. It's just that, okay, they receive love a different way.
Very quickly, the person who feels, because each one of these is someone who needs and someone who their language is to give it, are there people who their language of love is to give affirmations?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And sometimes the way that you like to receive love is different than the way that you like to give it. And that's okay too. The important thing about the love languages is just being aware that it might be different for different people.
Fascinating. Always good to talk to you. Thanks for
Thanks for having me.
All right. So you know what? Before we get into this article and the next thing that I want to do, I want to sit back there and hear from some of you guys. Now, is anybody familiar with this? That's one question we can sit back and talk about. And then also thinking, is there anyone that probably thinks they know what their love language is without sharing any details that would get me fired or in trouble? Uh-oh, don't be scared.
Sorry, I've definitely heard of love languages. I haven't looked too much into it, but by judging off what they were talking about, I would say mine would be words of affirmation.
Okay, words of affirmation. All right. Yeah, see, I'm not going to go too deep, because if I go too deep, you might talk about some romantic evening or something. But thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. All right, now I put your chat so I can have a good list of who's participating today. Anybody else? Anybody else
Mine is
heard about these and or what you think you might be? Autumn?
I heard about it. Well, I know a lot about it because we had to do a course like this in high school. And my love language, I have two love languages. Mine is gift giving and physical touch.
Okay. Excellent. So you got two of them. Now, which one do you think is your primary?
Physical touch.
Physical touch? Okay, all right. Now, anybody else want to share whether they heard about them, whether they think they know what their love language might be?
I'm familiar also.
Okay.
I would say my love language is words of affirmation and gift giving.
Okay, excellent. All right, now again, I don't want to push anybody, right? I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable, but the questions are still out there. Anybody else willing to share?
I would say, I don't see it on here, but I would say action and affection.
Actions or affection? Ooh, now I like this, because you know what? You're going to make us do a little bit of homework. Or affection, right?
But I don't, that's what I would say for me personally.
All right. So actions, let me see, would that be gift giving? I could be, doing something. I actually think what that might be would be not words of affirmation, but it's acts of service, right? That might be what I would understand. Now, as we get into this today, you can kind of ask that question and find out whether you think that's accurate, a portrayal of you, right? So again, I don't want to sit back and be like, oh, that's what you are. But again, I just shared that. I think that might be the solution that we're looking for. And that was Jada, right?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is this. I am taking this website and putting it in chat. Now, for those of us, you click on this link. When you click on this link, it will take you to where we are. So I'm going to stop screen share because screen share oftentimes makes it more difficult for you guys to see your screen or looking at my picture, right? Now, what I would like people to do is go to that website, right? Now, when you go to that website, that will have it. Now, before you start clicking on or moving around or certain things, what I want you to do is to raise your hand if you've clicked on that link and you've gotten to that website, right? Now,
wait, where is it again?
All right, it's in chat. So I put it in chat. When you click on chat, you'll see a link. When you click that link, it will take you to that website. And when you go to the website, I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do together, but I wanna see people's hands raised so that I know that I'm not waiting for anyone. All right, so I got one hand raised. It's not a race, but good job. All right, two hands, I like it. All right, looks like we lost somebody. Ooh, 4 hands. Look at that. I heard the people leaving. I was all upset, trying to hurt my love language. But then again, we see we got lost 2 people already. That's kind of sad. What am I doing? I'm a bad teacher. All right. I am not going to wait for much more. We got 4 hands up, right? Without seeing the rest. All right, we got somebody joining back. We got 2 people joining back. That's good. Maybe it's connection issues. I thought I had connection issues. Y'all might be going through it, right? Now, so I'm going to go back to the screen, because when I go back to the screen, I want to have you guys be able to see what we're talking about. Now, this website right here is Psychology. That's not how you pronounce it. Please don't think that. I don't know why they have it this way, even though it's a British magazine. Now, this website, we're just going to comb through it. When you go down, we're going to sit back there and ask a question, right, about an individual's love language. This is a 16-item survey that we're going to answer, and it should tell us what love language we have. Now, everybody in the class, right, sat back and gave us they're on their own page, so you can follow this along on your own. What I'm going to do is I'm going to read these questions off, read the options, and I'm going to answer them, right? And when I answer them, ooh, am I going to be personal? Like, yeah, I'll answer. I don't care. I'll answer them as to how I would imagine them being. You guys can go along with me. Now, again, follow along with me, because like I said, you want to think about these questions. You just go through and click, click, click. Your survey is not going to be meaningful. It's not going to be anything that's relevant to what you're doing. It's not going to tell the appropriate information that you need. So make sure that you think about these questions, all right? Now, question number 1. Mark Twain said, I can live for 2 months on a good compliment, right? What do you think? It's true. Words aren't my strong point. I prefer spending time. Okay, as long as it's followed up by an invitation to get out or a gift. Sure, if it comes with a cuddle or a kiss. I think I'm gonna put it's true. Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Keeping it real, I can sit back and remember compliments I received from people. Makes my wife very frustrated, but I can remember compliments that are just random from the right person at the right time years back. And I'm getting old up there, I'm remembering. All right, question number 2. You guys can follow along or just follow me. It's up to you. You are feeling a little down, so you'd really like your partner to, all right, got a chat issue right here. All right, can I resend the survey link? Yes, I am. Uh-oh, that's the link and some other stuff. I don't know how that stuff got put in there. I'm so sorry, but that's the link. It looks like it went through on my end. You're feeling a little down, so you'd really like your partner to say, I know it's hard and I admire your courage. Come home early to spend a cozy evening with you, feeling down. Offer you a surprise weekend or relaxation, take you in their arms and make you forget about it. Ooh, I think I like to take you in their arms and make you forget about it. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be letting y'all know what I'm saying on here. All right, question 3 of 16. So we got to make sure we move a little bit. In general, you like it when your partner criticizes what you do, is always thinking about their work or material things. Oh, you don't like it when your partner criticizes what you do, is always thinking about their work or material things, never gives you any presents, care less, doesn't kiss you when entering or leaving the house. You know, I think criticizes what you do. Yeah, I've gotten to some unique conversations where it's just like, are you even listening to me? Sometimes I feel like people can just listen just to wait to disagree. This right here gonna get me in trouble because my wife's home. All right, you've forgotten to buy something, and so you appreciate it when your partner says, you've forgotten to buy something. Leave it, you've done enough, I'll go and buy it. Ooh, let's go together. And how about if I buy you lunch while we're out? Why don't you pop around that shop that you've been talking about while you're there? Yeah, do something for yourself. It's not really important. Come and relax with me for a few minutes. I like to leave it alone. You've done enough. I'll go buy it for you. Yeah, I think many times right now it seems like you're down and out and you kind of want that assistance. And I think it's key to get help, not necessarily all the time, but when I need it. Like I think I do a lot. All right, question 5 of 16. Your partner explains that they won't be dining with you this evening. Whew. You appreciate the fact that they took the time to discuss it with you. Invite some of your friends around for pizza and TV. Order a nice meal to compensate for their absence, or take that long hot bath you've been dreaming of. Hot bath, that's definitely not me. Order a nice meal. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Just let me know. Just don't let me know last minute either. All right, so we're down to question 6 of 16. You've got problems with some of your colleagues and you discuss it with your partner. You'll be touched if they support you and give you a boost of confidence, listen to you at length without interrupting, and then comfort you. At the telephone rings so they can keep listening to you. Listen to you while tenderly holding your hand. That's a hard one. I think I like second and the fourth one, although I'm gonna put listen without interruption. The halfway mark, let's go down. Oh my gosh, an advertisement, really? All right, I don't know what all these texts are coming in. All right, question 7. You finally got the promotion you've been after. You announce the news to your partner, who brags all about you to their friends, comes to pick you up from the office, take you out to dinner, offers to take you away for the weekend, just the two of you, greets you with a passionate kiss that begins a memorable evening. I'm gonna say come to the office. That's stupid. That's coming to Cheney. I want nobody coming to Cheney.
Is it C?
You know what? I think I'm gonna pick C just because I'm on the fence. I don't think I necessarily like the 4, like greet you with a passionate kiss. Like, I got kids. That's kind of, that doesn't really work. All right, question 8. To spontaneously show your love to your partner, you would usually compliment their style or behavior, take some time out to spend together, organize something to do as a couple, or cuddle and spoil them. Cuddle. Organize something to do that they would enjoy. Definitely. All right, 9. We're getting closer, guys. Your partner's birthday is coming up. How are you preparing for it? An erotic, no. You secretly organize a huge surprise party. When you're out shopping, you make a note of all the things they like. You buy some essential oils, ready to offer them a surprise massage on the day. Yeah, a massage, that wouldn't be anything big here. Yeah, and that's the sad thing about my option is that when you're shopping, usually I do that and it's last minute. Like, the birthday might be next week and here I am watching around trying to get ideas. I remember that anxiety. You've accomplished something quite difficult. You'd like your partner to yeah, I'll just say warmly congratulate. These other ones just aren't really me. All right. Question 11. Your workmates are celebrating your 10 years with the company. You're really touched because they wrote a really nice words for you in a card. They all arrived early at work and gave you a big surprise. They offer you a framed photo of them, all with a very funny inscription. They all came to congratulate you, even the boss. I think I like the framed photo. I think little mementos and certificates are real nice. All right, let's go. We should be on question 12, 75% through. Your best memory as a couple was when your partner climbed on a table at a restaurant and proclaimed their love for you. Surprised you with a night in a magnificent castle. Okay, this has to be analogous because I ain't been in no castle. Came to your workplace, bars into your office, and passionately kissed you. No, it's ridiculous. Can you imagine that during office hours? I'm an advising session. What are you doing? Offer you your first parachute jump out of an airplane. Ooh, I think all these are analogies. I would say, yeah, surprise you with a night at a castle, but it wouldn't be a castle. Come on, Black people were slaves at castles. That's a joke. I'm teasing. All right, an advertisement. Let's go down to question 13. We're almost there, guys. One second, guys. I got to do something for my kids. All right, 1 second. All right. For your friend's wedding anniversary dinner, which gift would you buy for them from an interior decoration shop? Yeah, decorated item that you would personalize yourself, a beautiful lamp that you recently heard them talking about, a designer beanbag that they can snuggle into together. Yeah, I would do that because honestly, I remember doing a lot of research in terms of how married couples they lose their love, and I think yeah, that's definitely what I would do. You got to sit back and get married and make sure that you remember. Good advice I'll say for any of you who are thinking about marriage or will get married. The important thing is this: they actually tell you happier couples, and I'm going to put this in the chat, right? Happy couples will kind of have a room or a table or a space to kind of be a visual, everyday keepsake of your wedding, right? When you get married and you put the pictures, the glasses and the vases, and you put all that stuff in a box and you hide it away, you'll never be reminded of the fact that you guys got married. Whereas if you walk through every single day, it can bring you up. It can remind you of what you're into. It's a great technique. There's research about it. If I could find that article, it wasn't on the internet, but I think that's another good and interesting read as well. All right, question 14, you feel ill. You feel ill at ease when your partner hasn't said sweet and loving words to you, had a moment to spend with you, give you a little gift, touched you lovingly, had a moment to spend with you. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, question 15, and then one more. All right, if you had to choose an image that symbolizes love, it would be a heart-shaped mouth, two silhouettes holding each other's shoulders, a heart-shaped gift with a beautiful ribbon around it, or two intertwined hands. I'm gonna say, ooh, hands, man. That's only because I was doing great. I think intertwined hands. Yeah, I like that. All right, last. You know what? I'm gonna be real angry if this website make me put my information in here. We done did too much work to be trying to sit back and be advertised to. You feel even more like making love when your partner, oh, maybe I should cover the screen on this one. Ooh. I'm gonna keep it real. It's probably C or D though. Yeah, I'll go with that. All right, let's click finish. 100%. I'm not sure. I hope y'all are with me. All right, let's see what it says my love language is. All right, it says encouraging words, kind words, compliment, positive feedback. This is what makes you feel loved, right? You're very sensitive to the power of words and do good, tender words, and your looks, clothes. What? Tender words about your looks, clothes, human qualities, professional skills are all highly motivating to you. I think I get that. You feel like you're really living and that your partner appreciates you. It's no surprise that nothing is more hurtful to you than harsh sarcasm or cruel words. Okay. To you, words have the power to elevate, motivate, and or destroy. True, true, true. All right, now I don't mean to put any focus on those of you who shared earlier, right? However, I will. I want to have two things. I'm going to open up two things. Those of you who shared earlier, let me know if your survey, if you're willing, right? If your survey was consistent with what you thought. And then others, if who completed this survey, let me know what this survey said about you.
Mine was consistent.
Oh, okay, that's excellent, Madison. Now, I think you mentioned you had a little experience with this previously, but that's really good. That's really good. Anybody else? All right, that's Madison the second time.
Mine was good, like spot on.
Okay, okay. Jada's was good, spot on. That's interesting because I like this survey. This survey was not straightforward. This survey was really just this survey was asking a lot of indirect questions that you couldn't really guess at the hypothesis from these questions. So that's really good. Anybody else want to, Chico, get your lip off my keyboard. Anything else anybody want to say?
And my results was encouraging words.
Encouraging words. Okay. All right. Excellent. Encouraging words. All right. Let's put Kamal down for participating. All right. Anybody else?
Mine was consistent too.
All right. You want to tell me what yours was?
Mine was consistent too.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
Mine was quality words. I didn't say.
Mine was quality word too.
Yours quality words. All right. Darnell, is that you? Did you say the quality words?
Yeah, mine was quality words too.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. I'm loving this. I'm loving this.
Mine was encouraging words.
Same thing, encouraging words. That's actually really interesting that, you know, if you sit back and think stereotypically, you guys are young. You guys are, most of you are in the height of your physical contact, extracurricular aspects of relationships. And it's nice to see that it's all not physical touch. You know what I mean? And I think that just goes to sit back and talk about how, yeah, mature you guys are. Maybe you guys are, I'll give you guys a little bit more credit. That's actually some good stuff. All right, now let's go to the article. This was a lot of about 35 minutes playing around with the content. I want to make sure that we are really understanding what we read. Now, to throw a monkey wrench in this game, let's look at what this article is saying. Now, this research I mentioned before lets me know how long it's been since I've been in graduate school, but it says speaking your partner's love language may not matter. What? Love language alignment doesn't result in happier relationships. What? Now, I want to sit back and caution you guys. They're saying two different things. And, you know, I need to sit back and say that. Let's go here. I mentioned something earlier that I really want to make sure is fodder for the exam. Fodder for exam 4. I'm going to say showcasing memorable items from your wedding is a psychologically proven, I'm gonna say stimuli that promotes relationship happiness. All right, I'm gonna put that here. I'm also gonna, I'm not gonna put it on the screen. Yes, I will. I'll put it on the screen just for those of you who like to see things visually, but I wanna make sure that you guys know that. I'll probably be putting this on the exam. Like you guys know, I always get some trick questions, and the trick questions are never stuff that's in the article. Those questions are usually issues that are brought up in discussion like we're doing right now. All right, fodder for exam 1. Showcasing memorable items from your wedding is a psychologically proven stimuli that promotes relationship happiness. And again, that can be as simple as putting in your pictures of your wedding. You know, you might have some party favorites. I gave all my groomsmen a bar glass, right? I still have one from the guy that didn't show up to my wedding. And I got stuff in it like beads, like little colors, items, pins, right? Stuff from the goodie bag from there, chocolates that were wrapped up. I can't imagine opening that chocolate today and what it would taste like, but it's there and it serves to remind. And I'll tell you, there's certain days where I'll just be on the phone and I'm in the living room and I'm just sitting back there talking on the phone in the living room and I see that stand and it just takes me back. There'd be those situations where you're just being like, hey, what's that? It's like, I love you. What's that for? Oh, nothing. It's not anything. But again, that stimulus should just serve to kind of put people and remind people of the fact that they're married, how happy they were when they were married, and that can kind of translate into the relationship. Okay, now let's start reading. Who's willing to read this first paragraph for us?
I'll read it.
All right, you'll read. Thank you, Autumn. Chatting it again. You already helped, but thank you so much. All right, Autumn, go ahead.
In his best-selling book, The 5 Love Languages, Gary Chapman introduced the idea that there are 5 love languages, that romantic partners demonstrate their feelings of love and affection for each other. Physical touch, words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, and acts of service.
All right, so I don't think there's any surprises here. The 5 love languages that we were talking about are exactly the same 5 love languages that we were having in this survey. Now the wording might be a little bit different. Words of affirmation. And anybody can let me know if they got something that was different. I actually forgot, what did I get? Hold on. I got encouraging words. Let's see what that represents. Words of affirmation. Okay, so like I said, the language is a little bit different, but it's the same thing. It's not like it's something new. All right, thank you so much, Autumn. Let's pick up from somebody else. And I might interrupt you because this is a kind of hefty chapter. I mean, a hefty paragraph. You might not read all of this paragraph, but can someone start for me? Uh-oh, you know what? I think y'all on the other side of your microphone, you're muted and you think I can hear you. Unfortunately, I can't. All right, 2 participants raise your hand. Let's go ahead and unmic yourself, man.
Wait, who?
Well, I said man, and I was just back there thinking like I need to correct myself. Go ahead, Maya.
All right.
Are we having no technical difficulties? You good, Maya?
Oh, wait, hold on. Yeah, it's not, because I'm on my phone right now.
Okay, so you can't read it?
No.
Okay,
It's
somebody else.
skipping.
Somebody else can pick us up right here.
Actually, I can read it. Over 20 years after its original debut, Dr. Gary Chapman's 5 love languages remains highly discussed and circulated in academic and interpersonal circles alike. Love, which remains relevant and useful in many different types of relationships, from family and friends to romantic partners. Readers and psychologists are in agreement that our qualitative research collected from over 30 years of marriage counseling points to useful, practical applications from which we all benefit. Let's take a deeper look at each love language and their psychology.
All right. Now I want to point out some of the issues that's written in here that's really point, right? Now, what we refer to this is, it's what you call a descriptive theory, right? Now, what I mean by descriptive theory is this. This researcher did not wake up and sit back and said, ooh, you know what's going to make people happy, right? Ooh, what in the world? All right, hold on, let me, yeah, this researcher did not sit back and say, you know what would make people happy is if they did X, Y, Z, is if they did that. No, this researcher looked at 30 years of research, right? And it's been around for 20 years, right? So they've looked at 20 years of research. I'm going to highlight some of the points that we're talking about right here. Over 30 years of marriage counseling points that were being used. So 30 years of data collection from psychologists were being used, right? Now, we're a little older from this article, that's a couple years old, but again, it's been in our psychology for over 20 years. I'd probably say 25 years right now. But what I want to point out is the fact that this research is descriptive in nature. And what I mean by descriptive is the fact that this theory describes how processes actually work in the real world, rather than theoretically predicting how it should be. Now, and that's what, that's what like your parents sometimes tell you. honestly, you guys probably are in relationships long enough that your parents, if they know that you're dating or something, they'll sit back and be like, you know what? You want to get a happy wife? Go do X, Y, Z. You want to be happy? And honestly, I'd laugh at those people because, in family, you can sit back there and see that, like, many times you got delusional husbands who think they're happy or their wives are happy and they're not. But it's always interesting to sit back and hear people talk like that. Now I'm going to leave this. I actually hope that's not see-through because right now it actually does work that I can see it really well on the screen. But I want people to know what a descriptive theory is. A descriptive theory is a theory that describes how processes actually work in the real world. And you have to do that from data. So this person didn't wake up and be like, oh, you know what? I touched my wife and she likes it and she touched me and I hate it. No. That's not how this theory was created. Now, there are some theories that were created that way. If you guys know about Jean Piaget and Sigmund Freud, right? Both of them had theories of child cognitive growth and sexual growth and identity. And what they did, which is so outrageous, what they did is they looked at their own children. Jean Piaget had, I think, 6 children, all at different points. And I think over a summer, he sat back and was forced to watch his children because his wife got sick. He was angry about it. And he's like, I'm gonna make this into work. So he sat back and made a theory because he was forced to raise his children. Now, ain't nothing wrong with that, right? But here's the issue. He's making a big assumption that he has the ideal children that define all Americans. He might have some weird, unique kids, and we have a lot of flaws in his theory as a result of him having such a small subsample. His kids are particular. He was actually well off. He was able to have the summer off and deal with his wife being sick, right? If you're not a faculty professor, you don't have summers off. If your spouse gets sick, right? You don't have the ability to continue to get the money you get and still sit back and not have to do work. Imagine the difference between a couple. We wouldn't even have his theory, not from him at least, if he was not a college professor, his wife didn't get sick, and he had to continue to go to work. Honestly, it could have been his mother-in-law, his mother, that would have had these observations, and we wouldn't know who Jean Piaget even is today, right? So again, descriptive research is looking at data, mounds of data, and looking for existing trends, not introducing your thought, opinion, and or theory, but looking at the trends that exist. And these trends are the 5 love languages, which are identified right here. All right, so we got 2 points to think about for the upcoming exam. All right, let me clear this off the screen just because it'll get in the way as we move forward. Now, since we have already went into detail about gift giving, since we've already went into detail about quality time, the video went into physical touch, right? I actually do kind of want to go into this right here, but I'm not, right? Words of affirmation, right? And then we also went into acts of service, right? I'm not going to have us focus on these. We're going to pick up at the end because the article actually has a story to tell. And I don't want to redundantly beat this point down. I want to make sure that we're engaged with some new content, right? So let's pick up right here where I think this conversation kind of ends, and it's going to introduce us some new information. All right, so I need some volunteers. Who are some individuals that, or an individual who can read this portion of the article?
I'll read it.
New hand raised, just unmute yourself and go right ahead.
Can I read it?
Yes, you can. And whoever raised their hand recently, I'll just have them call on you next. Go ahead, Kamal.
The world could use more love and less hate. And we look again to the words and actions of former leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr. and others as examples. We encourage you to spread love today, not just with friends and family, but with every person you meet.
Exactly. And you know what? I didn't talk about this earlier, but I want to mention this. The love languages, even though they are appropriate for your sexual partners, right? If that's what you're thinking, this is also true for families. I have 2 children, right? And I think both of them have different language. They probably do have different love language. We'll probably have this conversation at dinner tonight, right? But the way that you interact with your children and family members, not just your partners, it needs to be consistent with that. Some children might need those words of affection. Some people might need a hug. And it's really funny because I think that mothers are really in tune with those differences. And sometimes men can be kind of pretty naive and not know what's going on. But this is not just truthful for relationships. You need to think about your friends, right? You think about what kind of relationship your friends have with you and what makes your friends tick, especially if you like them. All right, let's go on to this next paragraph. Thank you, Kamal. I feel bad if I haven't been thanking people, but thank you for reading that. I need another volunteer, however. All right, now, I think I already put your name in the chat, but I'm going to do that now, if not already. All right. All right, another volunteer. Picking up where I highlighted here, showing love.
I could read that.
All right, thank you so much, Madison.
Showing love through physical touch can involve a wide range of behaviors such as holding hands, kissing, and sexual intimacy. For some individuals, physical touch is a primary way they show and experience love. When such individuals receive a lot of physical touch or their partner speaks their love language, their love tank is full. They feel valued, loved, and appreciated.
All right. Now, again, like I mentioned before, this is me judging most of you. But again, with you guys being young and outside of being home, et cetera, I would have actually been biased and been like, oh yeah, most of these young kids are all about, physical touch, blah, blah, blah. However, they mentioned that sex fits under that one particular category under physical touch. However, nobody should feel embarrassed by physical touch because as it says right here, there's so many other things. Holding hands can be just as much as I'll say as a desired behavior as kissing, similar to sexual intimacy. And also you got to realize, especially as people in relationships, you can have individuals who like physical touch, right? And aren't necessarily sexually intimate because they like the holding hands, they like the kissing, they like the hugging. They're not so into, the sexual act of intercourse. All right, I'm going to read this next paragraph just because it's short. All right. Demonstrating love towards words of affirmation involves giving a partner compliments and stating how much they are appreciated. You're the best. I appreciate you, blah, blah, blah. The language of quality time involves giving a partner undivided attention when together, putting distractions aside and making sure the partner is your primary concern. Others feel loved when they receive gifts from a partner, particularly gifts that show effort and thoughtfulness, right? And then finally, speaking the language of acts. Acts of service means doing things for your partner that make their life easier, doing the dishes, picking up dry cleaning, putting kids to bed. Honestly, people talk about how we're putting all of you in these categories. As you guys grow and your situations and circumstances change, your love language might change. You can sit back and think about a relationship stereotypically. I know it's 2021, right? But stereotypically, married women who are married with children, they appreciate acts of service while they have young children, while they are lopsidedly the primary caregiver for their children. At that point, you know what? Forget about buying me roses. Forget about a diamond. If you sit back and pick up the laundry on the way home, if you go out and buy dinner, or if you clean up behind me and I don't have to do it tonight, that right there, I'm not going to get myself in trouble. That could be something that could be really rewarding. And again, as your child grows and gets into another part of their life, that might go away. But during those child rearing ages, that is it. And many divorces actually come as a result of the male not changing. You'll sit back stereotypically, hey babe, when we were younger, we used to do blah, blah, blah. we used to go out and do blah, blah, blah. Okay, right now we have 2 children. We just can't stop, drop, and do what we used to do the way that we used to. All right, now let's get back to reading some substantial information. All right, now I want to make sure we still got 12 people here. There's people we're not hearing from. All right, so who can pick up from according to Chapman? We had some hands that were raised and they disappeared. Don't be scared. All right, the current hand is up from Mark. Mark, you willing to read for us?
Yeah, according to Chapman, couples may use all 5 love languages to express love and affection. However, individuals have a dominant or primary love language, and relationships work best when partners' primary love language align. When individuals predominantly express their love language in ways that their partners accept the most, or something of the idea that one should predominantly show love for a partner in a way they understand, undoubtedly accounts for the widespread popularity of Chapman's work.
All right, so again, they're just talking about this, right? They're almost criticizing this a little bit. It almost seems like they're haters. And if you think about this article is a hater article, because they're saying that alignment of your love languages isn't necessarily what's important. So I don't want y'all to think about what's saying. Just because we're not disagreeing, we're not 100% agreeing, doesn't mean we're saying it's not true. What we're saying is this. We're saying that if you're in a relationship and I love words of affection, it doesn't mean that I have to be with someone who loves to offer words of affection in order for me to be happy, right? Now that's what it's saying. So it's not saying that your relationship is doomed. It's just saying that many people on a superficial level would sit back and say, if you need somebody that likes touch, you better be with somebody that likes touching you. No, because what they heard in the article and the video beforehand, when you care for someone and you understand what their desires are, it can allow you to want to be maximally affected and adjust. There are things that you'll do that you might not want to do, but you're doing it because you know your partner likes it. And you only regret it when, the relationship might be over or something like that. New research set out to test the very idea. All right. There anybody who's willing to pick up from here? You know what? I need to give you credit, Mark, for reading. Thank you so much. Put you in the chat and I'll save this chat. Oh, everybody, don't be scared. All right, so I'm going to pick. Oh, we got some hands up. My bad. All right, y'all should know I don't make sure I call on nobody yet, but I don't think I've heard from Michael yet. So Michael, if you don't mind, can you read this paragraph? Ooh, now you know what? I don't know where you are, Michael, but you know what? I'm going to pick up. Maybe you can walk to a better place and get a connection. I think you're sounding like what I probably sound like earlier when I was warning y'all. But I'm gonna read this and then I'm gonna try to call on you next. All right, guys? Okay, so this is what he would have read, but I'll read it, right? New research set out to test the very idea that love language alignments play a role in determining a couple's happiness. Hater. And they can say we're trying to advance the discipline, they hating. The research found that couples who shared the same primary love language were no happier than couples with the love language mismatch. The research also revealed that while the vast majority of participants intuitively understood their partner's primary love language, insight about whether a partner needs to feel love didn't result in better relational outcomes. Oh, look at what they're saying, right? Some people are actually aware of what their partner's primary love language is. And let me tell you, it wasn't until I got ready for this lecture and I was preparing that I think I did. I sat back and this is a little game y'all should play. Sit back and think about your partner, right? I would say partner because it's 2021. Think about your partner. You get in your mind what their love language is. Share with them this article or the YouTube video, right? And then see if you can accurately guess what their love language is. And I'll tell you, this is why it's not about making sure that you match, but appreciating and knowing it That's the problem. Once you know, knowing is half the battle, right? I'm trying to quote G.I. Joe. I don't know where to go there next, right? But knowing is half the battle. After that, the issue is, what do you do with that knowledge? What do you do with that knowledge? So most people do understand their partner's primary love language. However, this insight, right, about what a partner needs to feel love didn't result in better relational outcomes, which is ironic. Knowing is half the battle, right? It's about what you do with it. That means you could talk to a husband that knows his wife is about acts of gifts, right? I know that's what she likes, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to follow through and buy her more gifts. That's ironic. And I'm not saying we're going to lead to a divorce or anything, but that's just saying it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to move forward. All right, okay. Somebody mentioned that, what if we don't have one? All right, this is a great question. I believe that if an individual feels like they don't have a love language, I don't think it's the fact that they don't have a love language. I think it's the fact that they probably have a number of them, and they're probably not anyone that stands out and is particularly dominant, right? So chances are this person would appreciate receiving love in almost any of these ways, right? Now, a little bit of self-reflection leads us to what we deal with in psychology all the time. Let me tell you, I am not the best. Oh, what if we don't have a partner to think of their love language? Okay, you know what? Let me tell you. Think about your mother or your last partner. There we go. But you know what? I like this question, Madison, because it's taking me on the other direction as well. But there are people that probably have a series of love languages, and one may not be so dominant. And actually, I wonder if that should be like some type of terminology or grouping to kind of categorize them. I think there are individuals who like to be spurred a moment. And I actually know people who feel like it depends on what partner they're with or who they're with in terms of what language they want. They don't want the tough guy that they're dating with to show them words of encouragement. But when they're dating the guy that's sensible and reflective, that's what you do. I mean, if I stereotypically think about you, that's what you should do. You sure as hell better provide that to me. So again, it just really talks about that dynamic that exists between these things. All right. Moving on. Although the researchers, you know what? I'm gonna read this, right? Although the researchers failed to support the idea that love language alignment results in better relationships, one finding did lend some support. In relationships where there was a misalignment of primary love languages, woo. So again, there is some types of like opposites don't attract, right? Both men and women were happier when the woman adjusted their behavior to adapt to their partner's needs. Now, actually, I'm actually thinking this is one of those results that we would probably be scared to write in 2021, because it talks about the subservient nature that we try to promote to women. It also talks about and highlights how much women sacrifice in relationships compared to their men. When men sacrifice in relationships, they hold grudges. They throw it back in your face, right? Whereas women in relationships oftentimes are sacrificing so much, and it goes unacknowledged, unappreciated, and oftentimes, ignored. In short, this study showed that love style alignment wasn't an important factor for a relationship to be successful. But when misalignment was present, couples did better when female partners modified their behavior. Yeah, that's actually, I feel bad that I got to share this to y'all. I really do. Now, you know what, Michael? You were the last person that was willing to sit back and say something. I think your mic wasn't working. You probably were in a bad internet spot, but I do want you to speak. So I will ask you or invite you to finish us off right here if you can. All right, now I didn't hear that, so I'm thinking he might still be having some bad options. Now, again, I don't want to take us home, right? So somebody else, is there anybody else who'd like to read this last paragraph for us? Wait, let me look around. Is it we passed the end of class?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. I can hear you now. Who is this?
Mike.
Mike. Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
If speaking the same love language isn't as important as book sales suggest, what does making a romantic relationship work? Decades of empirical evidence show that having a secure style of attachment and being responsive to a partner's ever-changing needs lead to the outcome of most couples desire, long-term happiness and satisfaction.
All right. Now, remember I told y'all this article seemed like it's written by haters. Let me have somebody else read this sentence right here. And you know what? No offense. I'm not going to call on people, but I am calling for people who have not read yet. If you guys don't know how Dr. Barnes does this in this class, I'm putting people's names in chat, right? People who put names in chat are those who participated at least once, right? Now, I mentioned if you don't read or participate, you might as well not be here. So again, this is a one sentence line to help me drill a point. Who's willing to read this? Preferably somebody who has not read it before. I don't want to call people out. There's a couple of people who haven't read before. Going once. Going twice. All right, let's go. If speaking, let's see the sentence. If speaking the same love language isn't as important as book sales suggest, why they counting this up man's pocket? Why they cutting about how this man's research is popular, how he's selling books, how he has been like the driving force in recent psychology when it comes down to relationships? Again, I argue this is hater research. And this is the difference between getting peer-reviewed articles, which you're unable to introduce your own personal biases, to popular media. This was published in a magazine, Psychology Today. Even though it's supported by psychologists, that book has become a marketing instrument. And so again, these kind of things that are kind of biasing you or trying to be funny, they're able to be introduced. Whereas we don't get that type of stuff when it comes down to scholarly research, even though these roots are going back to scholarly research. All right, everybody. I want to thank everybody for what we did today. We are 10 minutes shy of ending the class on time. I was going to talk about these. Now, you know what? I will do this one last. Actually, no, forget this. We're good. All right. Now, I mentioned before, we've had exam 3. I did not put in your extra credit for exam 3 for taking the quiz. And Kamal, I did not put everybody's extra credit in for attending the first meeting where we had to meet Dr. Bowen, which is our new university licensed counselor on campus. I want to encourage you guys to continue to pay attention to the campus events. There's an event that I'm going to hold with Mr. Corbin, I think one of the lead police officers, as well as the counselor, Professor Maleko at this institution that we're going to do next Thursday. I will offer you guys extra credit for that. I think it's going to be next Thursday at 7 p.m. We're going to watch a Netflix movie. I'm not going to share the name because I don't want y'all to go watch it and then ruin the fun, but it's a neat little movie. It's on the spirit of what's happened with Derek Chauvin in the trial case. It's also consistent with what you're seeing on campus now in terms of My Life Matters. And I encourage you guys to come out. It's going to be in person. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this virtually. And again, we might have to reserve seats through some type of sign up aspect, but it'll be on the second floor of Marcus Foster, hopefully with ample space. And I think the Psych Club might be selling some popcorn if I can get through to the president, be a nice little fundraiser, or maybe we'll just give popcorn away. But again, please reach out to that. It'd be a great discussion led by some important people that I value on this campus on a topic that I think is important to all of us as we move forward. All right, guys, I'm going to stop recording, but I see a hand is raised by Madison.